It is certainly a privilege and a pleasure to serve the great people of South Carolina, and it has been a whirlwind adventure in many, many ways. I wanted to share with you for a couple of minutes, my personal story and my passion around economic development. I think we are on the verge of greatness as a country economically. Now, there are some things that are in our way. We have some serious impediments that we have to figure out how to address, from our tax code that is antiquated, perhaps becoming obsolete by the day. Also, the regulatory environment that we face today as Americans is absolutely creating strong headwinds, especially when you look at us from a global perspective. But perhaps the most important ingredient in our success is not Washington. Can somebody say amen? Amen. Okay. Is anybody else excited about that fact? I got so excited I fell off the stage. I wanted to keep walking. You know how that works? I am literally excited every time I go around South Carolina and I have a chance to visit a small business in Saluda, South Carolina on Main Street and talking about the dream that is coming to fruition in that person, that business owner's life. And I've experienced that. Much of my personal story leads towards being an entrepreneur. And frankly, as an entrepreneur, I've realized that in the back, you can't see me. I need to get taller. Thank you very much. It's like, dude, seriously, can you get back up there? Okay, thank you. Literally, I've learned along the way that a good economy makes all things possible. And so the real question is, what makes a good economy? And there are two major pieces to the opportunity agenda that I have been pushing forward in the Senate for the last couple of years. Part of it is education. And as we know in South Carolina, we used to celebrate the dismal performance of Mississippi. And we would all say, thank God for Mississippi. Unfortunately, in a global economy, it's no longer Georgia or Mississippi or Alabama or Texas. It's all over the world. It's China. It's India. The competition that we face is a global competition. So getting the education system right is critically important to the success we want to see here at home and the success we want to experience around the globe as a country. The second part is really having an entrepreneur's mentality, a mindset. For us to be successful, we have to see ourselves as entrepreneurs no matter who we work for. That is the second very important key. I learned about the first key of education the hard way. Anyone ever had to learn a lesson the hard way? The first time, the second time, and the third time? That was me. Being raised in North Charleston, losing my direction, drifting in the wrong direction for several years in high school. I basically flunked out of high school. When you look at the statistics of those who flunk out of high school, after the age of 25, about half of them are in the workforce. The other half is experiencing an unemployment rate around 20%. So finishing high school was very key. I didn't know that at the time. I failed world geography. I said earlier today, I may be the only senator to ever fail civics. Senator Shilley says, oh, really? I failed Spanish and English. And when you fail Spanish and English, they do not call you bilingual. They don't. They call you biignorant because you can't speak any language. That's where I found my unhappy self. But that kid who doesn't finish high school, who really doesn't see the world through the prism of education, they simply do not have a future in our workforce. There are nearly 5 million openings across this country, 60,000 plus in this state, because we can't get the workforce and the jobs properly aligned. Second part of that is really entrepreneurship work skills. The second part of the opportunity agenda really focuses on the skills that are necessary to succeed in the economy where you live. In South Carolina, we are having a manufacturer's renaissance. We are perhaps one of the greatest economies of making things in America. And people are looking at us and they're marveling at the fact that we're succeeding. Our low tax environment, our high quality of living, and the low cost of living all contribute to this success that we're experiencing. And I remember when I first went on county council in 1995, I think 96 or 97, I became the economic chairman for the Charleston County Council. One of the things we focused on, if you think of back in those days, the backdrop was the closing of the naval base. We were so dependent on one source of revenue that we about lost our minds when it was closing. Something sparked in the entrepreneurs and the thinkers in Charleston, much of it led by Mayor Riley, to be honest with you, was this notion of economic diversity. Let's attract the private sector. And over the course of the last couple of decades, what we've seen happen throughout the state and at home in Charleston has been remarkable. But it's been a team effort. We've seen South Carolina as one state, one opportunity with one goal. And economically, we've done a pretty good job. And we could celebrate whether it's Volvo or BMW's expansion or Michelin's expansion, $600 million, or Mercedes-Benz, 1,200 employees in Charleston. We could talk about the success of our port, or Boeing bringing 8,000 jobs. All these are driven by two factors: an entrepreneur's mindset and a quality workforce that requires after high school education. It may not necessarily require a bachelor's degree, but it does require education post high school. And if we focus on those key components, I think we have an amazing future in front of us. Thank you for your time.